Well, welcome back to the channel, guys, on the continuation of the teardown on the Banshee motor. Let me tell you, this thing, it's been a little bit of a challenge just because everything on it's rusted, corroded, doesn't want to come apart easy. And like I said before too, this is new, all new to me. It's kind of different from other two-strokes I've tore down on how it comes apart. It actually, in a way, is nicer as far as the case is splitting. Usually if you do like a regular two-stroke dirt bike or a single cylinder quad, splitting the case is a lot more difficult. You got some special tools involved and some skill set. This here, I think really anybody could honestly do it once you get everything freed up. Without this tool here, let me tell you, man, you wouldn't get half the screws apart. I will tell you though, a few of them I did have to use little needle nose vice grips where even that thing failed. And we still got one on the side here. I'll show you. This one right here, I've tried everything. I think I'm just gonna wait until we get this cases split because this shaft will come out of the way. These shafts will be out of the way, and I'll be able to get the needle noses on there better, and I think we'll be able to turn it out. I got just slightly loose, but not good enough that you can grab it with anything. I mean, as you can see, this turns. I got the other one out, but it took everything I had. I mean, it probably took a good 15 minutes to get turned out because I had to keep turning it with the vise. Alrighty, guys. Well, first things first, we gotta get this nut off. 17 millimeter. Alright. Then I got this tusk puller here. Let's see if it works. It should. Let's see, we gotta get that all the way back. Alright. I think I might have gotten this for another Yamaha that I was working on a while ago. Looks like it's gonna work. As long as we can get the hold in there good enough. Alright, see what happens here. Yep. So much for that. Try it one more time here. If this doesn't work, I got a couple other pulleys, or pullers I should say. Might work better than this one. I think it needs a thread in more is the problem. Try it again here. Problem with this is it's so torquey. No. Well, let's see what else we got here. A couple other pullers I thought I brought in. I got so much stuff sitting on this table now. Can't find anything. Oh, here we go. Here's a couple other ones I have. This one here you just do by hand, so maybe we'll see what that does. Maybe you just gotta go easy. That's a problem with impact. Sometimes I got too much torque. It's really not good for what you're trying to do. Well, it looks like this here we can tighten it down the wrench even a little bit. sucker's on there tight. We ain't gonna get with that one. If it was on there looser, maybe. So that's no go. Alright, what else I got here? At least that one threaded nicer. Let's see, what about this one? Oh, would help if I turn that back. Alright. I think this one might be it. Maybe 3 times is a charm, huh? See if we can tighten it on there a little bit. Threads must be just a little rusty on this. Have to watch that. Don't want to mess anything up. Alright, that should work. Plus we have a wrench we can put on this one. I guess this first one well, that one doesn't go as deep. Alright, let's see what we can do here. Here, let's just tighten this down by hand. It's way out. Alright. 3 times the charm. Nope. Huh. Well, see what else we got. I got this one here that I got for the little China ATVs, but who knows, maybe it might work on this. Gotta switch it around, I think. It's a good thing to have a bunch of them on hand, I'll tell you that much. Every thing has a different one that they need, and if you don't have it, now you're waiting for it to come in the mail, and it's just a lot of downtime that you don't really want to have to do. Well, it seems the thread may be a little bit better. This may get some I see it's pretty rusted. Well, maybe we could try here. Got a little WD-40 here, maybe that'll help a little bit. Here, let's put it on the inside. It's been kind of the whole problem with this motor, just rusted from sitting. I could tell you, if you're ever going to have a Banshee like this where you got it apart and you got the motor off, I would highly suggest like putting it in your house or something. Because I mean, and you know, sealing the ports and stuff off, keep it somewhere where it's dry. Because you do what this guy did, you set it in a barn or a shed or something like that that's damp, and weather's getting into it, it's just gonna jack it up. You're not gonna be like me here dealing with this. Not a good time that way. These out of the way. That's as tight as we're gonna get her. Well, see how this one works. Hopefully a lot better. So we're running out of options here. WD off my hand so I ain't slipping. Man, does that suck? I don't know how we're gonna get that off. I think what it is the threads that it's supposed to grab onto, they're just non-existent. Might have to use some sort of different puller to get that off. Oh boy. See, this is what I tell you. Most days, being a mechanic, nothing goes to plan. I figured we'd have this zipped off in a few minutes, but it looks like it's going to be a project. I'm trying to think of what other pullers I have that might get this off. Maybe a jaw puller? Well, we'll stop the video here and I'll look around, see what I got, and we'll come back when I got something figured out. Well guys, we might be in business here. I found this big, huge puller. I mean, it might not be the ideal thing to have, but it's what we got. So we're going to give it a try here. I don't know if this is going to work or not, but like I told you, you know, most people edit out the fails. With my channel, I'm not going to do that. I'll let you see the real struggles of when you run into a situation like this, what you got to do. Because odds are, if you follow this same path as me, you buy a Banshee in parts, it's been sitting around rusted, odds are you might run into the same thing. You know, you might not be able to use your traditional puller. You know, you're going to have to improvise. I'd say this is better. I've seen some kid prying on the cases trying to get one of these off. That's a bad idea. Very bad. It cost you a lot of money. Ain't so bad if you mess this up. It's not as much as buying new cases. Plus mine's pretty rusty, so I figure I might have to replace it anyhow. I don't think it's going to work too good. And plus with the threads being rusted out, I'd sooner have one that works. You know, that way if I got to do a trail fix, I can pop it off along the trail. I'm not having to do this. Well, wish me luck here. Let's see what happens. Like I said, I have no idea if this is going to work or not, but it's worth a shot. She's smoking. Good news is I think it's coming. Maybe I'll shoot it out a little lube. Oh man. Well, we got the flywheel off. Boy, it was on there. I mean, you can see the rust. It was seized on there. I had to go use a big air compressor with a Ingersoll Thunder gun, which is like, it throws out like 1,000 foot-pounds. I mean, this little Harbor Freight Impact I had, it didn't have nothing for this thing. But it got off. I mean, it come flying off with like a vengeance. Luckily, it didn't hit nobody or anything. But there it's off, and then I got the stator off, and boy, is she rough. I would be highly amazed if this even works. I don't really care anyhow though, because I think I'm going to do the stator plate upgrade where you can advance the timing and it has the marks. This is the stock plate here. There's no marks on it or nothing. I mean, everything looks rough. So, I mean, we'll test it. I mean, I'd be shocked as hell if that thing actually works. But truth be told, it's probably junk. So, anyhow, moving to the top here. This is the last thing we got to do to get these cases apart. I labeled these studs because they're different lengths up here on top from what I've heard. So you want to put them in the same place. I figured I'd videotape it here. That way I'll know, because I messed up. I put number 8 after number 1 here, after the hole there for the clutch thing. And then I went 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And then back down here to 8. I think that's all there is. I don't think there's any other ones here. So, well, let me zip these off here. I'd put you on the tripod, but that sucker fell. We have a cat that lives down here where the workbench is at, and sometimes she messes, and darn it if the old tripod didn't land in some doo-doo. So, just one of those things, man. So, let me get these zipped out, and I'll get this off, and I'll be right back to you. Well, there you go, guys. I got her apart. You can see the mud dauber nest. Oh my goodness, crazy. And I don't know what this debris and stuff, I guess, in there. And then there's our circlip that we lost earlier in the video. I'm sure there was somebody giving me hell for that, but I knew we were taking it apart. We could just get it then. So I'll take them, put that over there. But I was originally hoping I would not have to have a crank for this. I was hoping I was solid with the crank. The guy kind of bullshitted me. He said that he had a hot rods crank in here. But I'm going to say it's a stock Banshee crank, because usually if it's hot rods, it says it on the connecting rod, and I don't see it. I mean, I'll try to clean it up a little more, but it doesn't look like it. But here's what's got me concerned. I mean, look at the wobble on that. I mean, you're all right to have some play, but that's got a lot of wobble. Plus the rod's really rusty. I mean, maybe that would clean up, but I don't know. And on this same one too, if you remember right, the piston had scoring on the sides. So I almost kind of wonder if something went awry on this side, and it wasn't only just the clutch that parked this Banshee up. Maybe he knew something was about ready to tear open in the top end, because I mean, that's bad. That's a heck of a lot of play. I'm going to say the bearing down there must be toast. So yeah, so that's a big bummer. That's going to be a hell of an expense. The only way I've seen to go cheaply is to buy a used one, which you're taking a crap shot, whether it's good or not, or a Chinese one, which I don't know. Nobody really says anything whether they're good or bad. I don't know where anybody even runs them. I hear people mixed thoughts about the carburetors and the top ends. Some say they're all right, and others say not so much. I guess it all depends on how you're going to run the Banshee. If you're just going to baby it and it's a showpiece, I guess really doesn't matter. But if you're going to full send it and rip it and tear it, like I'm kind of planning to do, you probably want some good stuff in it. You know, you probably don't want junk that's not going to last. So yeah, the crank's going to be a hell of an expense. See this side? It doesn't have... That's the sad thing. This crank, even though it had the mud dauber nest, it's actually not bad. I mean, that's acceptable there. I mean, that's fine. And the piston and everything looked good on this side. So I think something totally went awry on this side. So that really sucks. But at least from what I could tell, I'm going to clean these cases up pretty good. Sure, I'd love to have them vapor blasted like everybody does, but I can't even imagine what that cost. Probably just going to try to clean them up really good. I'm going to pull these out, but I wanted to get a good picture of them still in there. So that way when I got to put this back together, you know, I know how it's supposed to go. So, you know, what gears mesh with what. You can't really see the shifting forks down underneath. I guess I'll just have to kind of read up on that. I mean, maybe we might get a view there. But at least that all looks good. I mean, I was kind of concerned. I was afraid this stuff would be all rusty, because they didn't have no oil in this thing. It sat for probably 20-some years with no oil in it. So I was really worried. So I'm very happy that this all looks good, because by that point, if you had to buy all this, oh man, you might as well just go buy a whole motor, and then you're looking at some huge money there. So, well, I'm going to move these out, and we'll take a closer look at this one we're having the problems with. See if we can figure out how to get that out of there. Figured I'd get video of seeing how that is. I took that shaft out, and we'll have to remember, yep, here went flying again. That bearing keeps flying off. It goes on the end there. But I just wanted to see how these shift forks were. Alright, we'll take this one out now. Oh no, it doesn't look too bad down in there. Shift forks look actually pretty good. I've had to replace these on other quads, especially like Polaris's and stuff. So happy to see that. This must be like the shift drum down here. So I haven't taken any of that part off the cases. I figure we'll wait closer to her. We might not even have to. I just want to get it nice and cleaned up so there's no debris in there. Like you can see, there's a little bit of debris in there. We'll get that all cleaned out so it's nice. But all right, let's take a look at this other shaft here and see what we can figure out. Well, there you go, guys. We got her out. Look at that sucker. It is welded to it. This is what supposedly originally parked this Banshee up. I had to tap the hell out of it. I mean, there's no way you would have gotten that out without splitting the cases. I'm going to say that once the guy learned that that was probably welded, he was just stunned because he had another rider and didn't care about this Banshee maybe. But here's the rod. I mean, it looks all right. It's probably reusable maybe. But this piece here, I mean, I even cut it down some to get the other piece off. We'll definitely be replacing that. I'll probably do the upgrade with the pancake bearing. So, yeah, there's the shaft. She looks all good. Yep, that dang bearing, it keeps falling off. Maybe I'll just leave it off there for now. It's just gonna keep falling. But, alrighty. Well, we'll assess everything here and I'll come back to you with a damage report. Well guys, I figured I'd do the damage report here to finish this video out so you know what we're looking at to get this motor back together and running. Obviously the crank isn't as good as I thought it was. The guy kind of lied to me too. He says a hot rod's crank and it didn't have many hours on it, but I'm going to say what happened to start. A lot of the damage I'm going to show you is the bearing down here went and it had just enough slop in it, and it caused some of the other things I'm going to show you. But on top of it is sitting, this is all rusted. I mean, ideally the crank you want the best because that's the heart of your motor. You know, you don't want to skimp on that. So we're looking at a new crank because I talked to Al, my buddy Al, and he won't do them anymore. He said they're too hard to true, and he said the money that I would have into it, it would be cheaper just to buy a new crank from somebody. So that's where we're at on the crank. And then over here at the piston, I was going to show you. See if you can get in the light there. See how it kind of got eradicated there a little bit, and then on the other side as well. See how it got all messed up there, and then there's some cracks in the bottom of the skirt. So that was on the same side as the bad crank, the right side, and then on top of it, our jug here. I don't know if I can get you in there. But there's some scoring, and then there's some places where it's like pitted. I don't know if that'll clean up or not. We'll just have to try, I guess. If not, I'm looking at just getting a new jug piston cylinder kit for what they cost. I'm thinking about going either Wiseco or Nix Pro X. I mean, if you guys have built one of these, give me your thoughts on that. You know, what's better, Nix Pro X or Wiseco? Or is the Chinese stuff good? I mean, let me know. Same on the crank. The crank, about the cheapest one I found is, it's some off-brand, but it's got heavier duty bearings and stuff on it. I was looking at that. I ultimately wanted to go with Driveline Performance, but they're all out of stock, and I don't know if they're making any more or not. That's who I really wanted to go with. And of course you got hot rods. That's like, you know, a $500 crank basically. And anything above that I just can't afford. I can't afford a Wiseco one, which people are saying they're bad anyhow, and I can't afford another brand new OEM Yamaha one. So that's where we're at on those couple things. And then the clutch, of course you knew about the rod. That's what the guy was serious about, or honest about. I don't know if he knew the ball was fused to it, but he knew there was something wrong with it. And then the clutch basket here, he must have been into it looking at it, because actually there's a fin busted off here. So, and then in between that, there's a lot of heavy grooving you can see there. And I can't do it and hold the phone for at the same time, but those bushings are in the back, there's a little bit of play to them. So all the way around, we're looking at a new basket. Originally, I was looking at just the Wiseco one. It seemed reasonable, or the Tusk one. But everybody's saying it'll just groove back up like the stock one. Like you can see the grooves, how bad they are. They said you ideally want to get a billet basket. So now I'm looking, a lot of people say good things about the Chariot. It's a little bit more money, but if it'll last the life of the Banshee, or as long as I own it, I think that'd be a better route to go. And then on this here, there was nothing wrong with it ideally, other than it had notching in it too. But I ended up, when I was grinding to get that dang thing off the push rod, the grinder caught that a little bit, so that's all on me. But I think we might be good on that. I think, if I can remember right, I think I seen one in one of the parts bins that came with the Banshee. We'll check on that the next video. Next video is going to be on the unboxing of all that, see what we got out there, see where we stand on all that, what's missing, what we got. So if there's not one of those out there, we're looking at another one of them. I don't know what to go with on that. A lot of people say the stock Yamaha, but it is pretty pricey, so I don't know. And then aside from that stuff, we got the flywheel here. Now, normally I would just clean that up and use it, but the problem is the threads in here are gone. We had a hell of a time getting this off. I would ideally like to just be able to pull it off with the regular flywheel puller. You know, that way if I gotta do it along the trail or something, it's easy. I'm not gonna carry a big flywheel car puller like we used to get it off. So I'm looking at a new flywheel. I don't know what options there are on that yet. I haven't really looked. I mean, probably ideally want to just stay stock if we can. And then the stator, she just looks rough. And I mean, even before I seen it, if it didn't have the upgraded plate with the degrees on it, where you can monkey with the degrees, I was gonna replace that anyhow. And this is all evidently the stock one, because there's no degrees on it or anything, or any way to adjust it. So I was gonna replace that anyhow. But the stator, I mean, I'll test it, but as rough as it looks and corroded and shit, I seriously doubt it's any good. A lot of people love Rick's stators. I was looking at him, but he's so expensive. I mean, I know you pay what you get for, but when you're on a budget, you just kind of try to get the best thing you can for the money you got. And everybody on that saying the Caltric, I don't know how you say Caltric. They're saying for an inexpensive stator, it's actually really good, and it comes with the upgraded degree plate. So I'm thinking about going that with that. So yep, that's it for now. I mean, we got a lot more to fix than what I initially thought. A lot more. But we'll get her. We just gotta be smart about it. Get good stuff, but they ain't gotta break the bank getting it. And like I said, you guys give me your thoughts. Any of you guys that are watching that have built a Banshee or know somebody that did, what brands did they use on the crank and the pistons and cylinders and the clutch basket and flywheel and all that, and let me know, because I'm open to suggestions, you know. But I think that's gonna do it for this video. Stay tuned for the next video, where we're gonna go through all those bins and see exactly what parts we got. I'm hoping there's some things that I've noticed right off the bat missing in there, because they're expensive pieces. And yeah, I mean, we're already looking probably about $1,000 to get this motor together. And I mean, that's just, you know, going as cheap as we can, but getting half decent stuff. So like and subscribe if you like what I'm doing here. Hopefully you do. It's always appreciated. It'll help me out huge. I really want to grow the channel. But stay tuned. The next video we'll unbox all that stuff and see what we got. Till then, I hope you guys have a good one, and keep her sunny side up.